Hello there everyone, I am Corporate Naps and welcome back to my channel. Hey, wanted to jump in here really quickly because I wanted to give you guys a few insights that I've learned about my hair in, I'm gonna say, the past year or so. Some of these are probably normal things that people would have come upon, but these are just changes in general that have come with the amount of time that I've had my locks and of course the length that comes with that. So here are a few things that I like to call learning my locks through time. Of course, I have some notes down here that I'm going to speak from on my phone or just so that I can remember because child, right now. But what I've learned is that I do tend to wear my hair up a lot more than I used to. I used to be really good about wearing my hair down, whether that was in curls or twist outs or braid outs, whatever that may be. I think most of you know, if you've been following me for a little bit, you know that I love my curls, my rod sets, but I don't do those as much as I used to. I definitely tend to do twist outs or braid outs more. When I do that, I tend to wear it up a majority of the time. I think some of that has to do with the fact that it's so much longer that I end up getting on seats, or when I sit down and then I put my head down, I'm like yanking my locks. You know, you sit down and your back is against the seat and you're not thinking anything of it, but if you put your head down, all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, let me move my hair. So there's that, and then there's the weight of the hair too. It feels like the weight of it is just a lot. Especially if it ends up being wet. If you go out with it damp, it just feels a bit heavier than I want it to. Like even now, while I'm fine with it being down, I'll probably end up being, this is a ponytail by the way, a high ponytail. I'm fine with it being loose like this, but even now I'm just kind of like, get off my shoulders, just go on, get. I'm serious. It's like I'm so used to not having it down anymore that it's like bothersome to actually have it down. The other thing that I notice is that my styles don't always look the same. Like I mentioned, the braid outs, the curls, they just don't look the same. Meaning they don't look the same every single time. Like I can do it where it's parted down the middle or a side part and use the same rods and put the rods in at the same time. So like the difference between it being soaking wet and the difference between it being just barely dry. I'll do all of the things that, or barely wet. I'll do all the things that I would normally do or that I did the previous time, and my locks will look completely different. I'm not real sure what that's about. I do know that in terms of how long, say, my curls last, they barely last at all. And so I think when I do things like curls, it just almost immediately they start to fall. And so I'm like, okay, it's not looking the way that it did look. It's not giving what it was supposed to give. No, but like my braid outs and my twist outs, they do tend to last a good amount of time. They just don't always look the same. Also, I barely do braid outs anymore. I don't even know the last time I've done a braid out. I tend to do twist outs just because they're faster to do and faster to unravel, and it's just more of an ease situation. So yeah, my locks don't always look the same as they looked in the previous style, no matter if I do it the same way or not. The third thing is the drying time. Oh my goodness. So I've probably said before in another video that drying my hair now takes a good amount of time. Yeah, so double that. It is really getting ridiculous. I think most of you know, if you've been following me, that I tend to dry my hair for the most part under the dryer, and then I'll let it air dry the rest of the way, just so that I'm not under the dryer for hours and hours and hours. But I will literally spend like an hour to an hour and a half under the dryer, and this is like, say, middle of the day on a Saturday. Sunday, and of course it's air drying the rest of the way till it's time for bed. When it's time for bed, I don't cover it up so that the air can get to it. By the time I get up on Sunday, I'm thinking I'm about to take my rollers out or unravel my twist outs. Next thing you know, I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be a flop, fine, because it's not all the way dry. So, and I think that's why I stay away from curls. I've just kind of come to the conclusion that if I'm going to wear curls, I either have to have my hair rolled for an extended amount of time or spend hours under the dryer, and that's just not going to happen. And in terms of the twist outs, I basically just wear the twist for a full day. So instead of trying to take them out the next day or the next morning, I will wear them back in a ponytail or a bun while it's in twist, and then take the twist out the next morning. Luckily, my hair is now long enough that when I put my locks in twist, I like the look. It's not skimpy looking or anything weird, so I can deal with them being in twist for a day or two sometimes. The fourth item is sealed ends. I have come to the conclusion that at this point my ends may not ever seal. I think most of you know that I have braid locks. My locks were started with braids, and I've talked before about how some people, the end of their locks, their braid pattern will remain like forever. What I did with my locks is after a while, because that braid pattern was still there for so long, about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now, took the ends of the braids out, or the ends of the locks where it still had a braid pattern. I took it out and just did 2-strand twist on them, let them seal or lock from there. Well, guess what? Many of those have not sealed off. They are still just loose ends, which I don't mind. I don't have a problem with it at all. I actually kind of like the look when it's straight, where you could really see it. But yeah, they are not sealing the way that I assumed they would seal. Not all of them, but many of them are still just kind of loose ends. The fifth and final one is these gray hairs. So let's get into it. So you've heard me say before in previous videos that it is hard to hide your gray hair when you have locks. You know, it's hard to hide gray hairs anyway. They just have a mind of their own, whether it's loose, natural locks, relaxed, whatever it is. But with locks, I mean, they are out there. They're naturally wiry, and all of the other hairs are typically kind of blending in. But with locks, yeah, these gray hairs are just like, what's up? What we doing today? What we doing today? For me, what I've noticed with the gray hairs is that now that they're coming in more and establishing themselves, I see them starting to go down the length of the lock a little more. I have a few where I can actually see the gray in the lower part of the locks, or at least this area of the lock. So I will tell you, I am one of those people. I don't have a problem with actually graying. My dad specifically, he has a head full of silver hair, and you know, he's a man, so it's a little different. You know, we had, you know, there's different sort of protocol for men and aging and all that. But I actually don't have a problem with graying. What I don't like is this stage where they are sporadic, right? I don't like that. You know, even if it were like a patch somewhere, like a patch here, I would probably be okay. But this spots everywhere of gray, or one or two here, and you know, one or two here, one or two back here, one or two. I'm like, okay, if you're gonna do this to me, let's just go ahead and do it. Don't just keep doing me like this, right? I don't use permanent color on my hair, but when I do put color on my hair, I usually do a dark brown rinse. I haven't done a black rinse in a very long time. I know on camera it comes across as black, but my hair is very dark brown. It's actually kind of a dirty brown, especially the closer you get towards the ends. So yeah, those are the 5 things that I have noticed with my locks as they have evolved. February will be 7 years for me, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. I think I spoke about it in a previous video where I am thinking about cutting them. If I cut them, when I say cut them, I mean trim them, give them a more even look. If I do that, I will go to a professional. Initially, I just kind of thought I'll just take them, you know, at the bottom and just snip across. But I think I want a professional to do it, because if I feel like I can work with it, I may let them do sort of a layered look, or I don't know, some type of style. I'm not necessarily married to how long they can get. I know some people have this thing of, oh, I'm gonna wait till you're 10 and I'm gonna go ahead and cut them. I don't know, I may wait that long, but I mean, at this point, I'm mid-back, well below my bra strap, so I know that they can grow, so it's no big deal. I don't see anything appealing about possibly sitting on my hair. It's enough trouble right now just sitting, as I mentioned, against a couch or a chair and realizing that I can't put my head down. That is it. I hope that everyone is doing well. If you have not already started following me on Instagram, definitely catch me there. You will see information below. And I also have a TikTok page, which is hilarious. Y'all, I love me some TikTok. It is my fun place. It is my happy place. It is just a really fun place to unwind. And do all of the silliness that comes with it. So definitely join me there. Information again in the description box below. Hey, I hope that everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe and take care.